Hey there folks, I'm Bryce Holdaway, he is Ben Kingsley, we are the hosts of the Property Couch podcast, and today we want to talk to you about a very important question that we often get asked, and that is, why, Ben?
Why, Bryce?
Why is it $2,000 per week? We've actually talked about it in our best-selling book, How to Retire in 2,000 a Week, Ben. The question comes up, why did you choose $2,000 per week?
Oh, it's a good question, Bryce. It's a really good question. I mean, the origins of the story go by that comfortable retirement. I did some research on that, and Westpac and the Australian Financial Superannuation Association has a rule of thumb. And I thought, comfortable retirement's about that 60, 65,000. I thought, then I looked at what you get out of that. Maybe one overseas holiday, maybe
put the heater on.
And it's like, that's not truly comfortable. So I think what we're saying around, for me, the $2,000 per week was really about making sure that you understood that it's obtainable for everybody. If they start early enough and they educate themselves and execute correctly, that's not that difficult. In fact, some people can go past that number, Bryce.
Yeah, they can. And Ben, what we thought we'd do when we did our books is most people in our industry, Ben, they often put photos of themselves with a Porsche or a jet or something behind.
Looking very successful.
Make no mistake, that is the epitome of what we are against. We're not necessarily saying to people that you should go and acquire all of this massive material success. If that's what you want, that is fine, right? Yeah. But it's not exactly what we're proposing, because $2,000 a week, passive income, where ideally you would have retired out the debt. Not everyone, but ideally you would have retired out the debt. Means in today's dollars, that's $104,000. Now, if you think about that, back when we first started, Ben, well, I'll speak for myself here. Back when I first started, I wasn't that specific about the end goal that we were chasing. But I just knew that I wanted to have some form of success is the wrong word, some sort of form of freedom that came from being in control of my own time. But having done this for some time now, we know that if that gives people a line in the sand, what we're trying to do is we're actually trying to say, all right, this is the summit.
It is the summit, the flag on top there.
That's the result. And for some people, Ben, they're standing at this point here. And really what they want to say is, I want to get to the summit, which we're talking about 2,000 a week. As I said, for you, it could be 1,000 a week, it could be 3,000 a week. But let's talk about why we did 2,000 a week. Because we actually know how to take people to the summit, Ben. We know how to do that, because we actually know how to do that with, in a lot of cases, Ben, 3 to 5 properties.
Correct. Well, it sort of makes sense, Bryce, in the sense that if you've got 5 properties that are all returning you $20,000 in income in terms of rent per year, there you go, tick, because it's $2,000 a week is roughly $100,000 a year. So depending on the value of the properties you get, and depending on your circumstances, which is why cash flow management is really important, and making sure you get the blend of assets that are right for you, because that is also the challenge here, right? You know, everyone doesn't have the same amount of income. Everybody doesn't have the same surplus every month. Everyone has different household compositions. So it's different for every type of household. But if you think about it, 3 to 5, as opposed to everyone was bombarded with the marketing and the greed, which was, I've got 14 properties, I've got 20 properties, or whatever that looked like. And so we weren't interested in that. We were just interested in saying an execution of 3 to 5 properties over the longer term. We're talking about patient execution over 10, 15, 20 years. You look up all of a sudden, you've paid that debt down, and you're in a financial position that's going to not only provide you the passive income for life, but also give you choices around the legacy of what those properties will do for you and the family beyond your time here on this fine planet.
Well said, Ben. So the 2,000 a week really talks about 3 to 5 properties, Ben, not 10 plus.
Correct.
And you don't have to do any renos, and you don't actually have to develop. Now, some people do want to do that, and that's totally fine. But the reason, if we go back to the original question, why $2,000 a week? Because if people want to climb that summit, Ben, and they don't want to actually give up their weekends to do either of these two, and they don't want to manage the portfolios, the question is it achievable? So we went down a path, and from my own experience, I've said it before, Ben, on the podcast, but the plan was 7 properties in 7 years, which was essentially an equity harvest model, which then I then upgraded that to harvesting equity, which was essentially not being specific of 7 properties in 7 years, but it's essentially saying if you continue to have increased growth, if the debt is also increasing, you have this net scenario where you can actually use borrowed money to actually fund your lifestyle, but the growth of the portfolio is actually going up at a faster rate, so that won't be fine.
No.
But what that particular model, what both of these models don't take into account, is for the average person, the person who doesn't want the jet and doesn't want the Porsche behind them, they just want some form of lifestyle, it makes them very, very uncomfortable because it relies on one thing, Ben, and that's debt increasing and consistently.
It's capitalising the debt. So this strategy only can work if the equity in the properties continues to grow in perpetuity, right? Which is not necessarily going to happen. The other thing that's also stopping this from happening, Bryce, is the fact that lenders are now getting more and more strict in terms of the number of properties that you're also holding as well. So I think it's worth to say that, where's that red one? That this strategy won't work. And we've been consistent on this in terms of whether it be through higher debts, interest capitalising, or these types of more aggressive strategies. The regulators and they catch up. They shut these things down. All right, this is aggressive behaviour. This is high-risk behaviour, and it's not possible, nor should it be promoted to typical mum and dad investors. It's just simply something you want to avoid. Whereas, as you say, Bryce, putting 3 or 5 of those properties on the road to your peak, to your sort of climbing the summit, that's exactly what you need to be doing.
Exactly, Ben. So it really leaves you, in our opinion, two remaining strategies. And it's the original one that I came up against, Ben. I should put a 0 here.
Yep.
And it's the Jan Summers strategy.
Yep.
And her strategy was to buy properties, Ben, and then sell them. Okay? So accumulate these properties. She's, over time, has changed that to hold on to them because of the wealth position. But it was essentially grows in value and you sell them. But there's some challenges around giving some of your hard-earned away to other people.
Yeah.
Or we've now arrived at this particular scenario where you retire out the debt. And that's essentially why we've got these 3 to 5 properties, because it's manageable. You can get your head around that. As Ben said, on the way to the summit, you add these properties. But if you can actually hold these properties, have the debt retired out, you then have this passive income that happens as a result. So essentially, that is the philosophy that we are using to achieve.
Yeah, look, I mean, ultimately we said 2,000 a week is just that perfect sweet spot for pretty much every household if they play the long game. If they can continue to manage their money, organise it, trap the surplus, have sensible, productive debt, which is leveraged debt. If they're going to be doing something like that, that's exactly what we want to be focusing on. And then all of a sudden, it is possible for a lot of households, Ross.
Exactly, Ben. So if this is maybe you, for example, you want to get to this point here, the way that we've positioned ourselves, Ben and I, having done this both for 20 plus years, I bought my first investment property in 1999. And Ben, you bought your first investment property in 1996.
96.
You were 23, I was 24. So we have done this for a little while now. So we have actually seen along the journey different cycles, we've seen different philosophies, we've taken different approaches, and now we've created a framework within our own business that helps people get to this summit.
Beautiful.
Now, so Ben, we positioned ourselves here essentially as the guide to say, okay, you want to get your result, we know how to take you there. And the way we've done that is really, really simple. There's really, okay, so if you think about the way that you can do it, there's the people that want to do it themselves, Ben. I'll just see if I find them.
Yeah.
So you've got a very large community of people that actually want to do it themselves.
A huge community.
So what we did then is we created a podcast so that we could help the do-it-yourself.
Free information.
So we can help that do-it-yourself community.
Yep.
There's also a done-for-you part of the community, and that's essentially people who want to have someone do it for them.
Yep.
So we have a business, Ben, that we can help people for the do-it-for-you crowd.
Yep.
We have a podcast to help the do-it-yourself crowd. But there's also a component of the market, Ben, who actually want to do it with you. They don't necessarily want to do it all on their own. They don't actually want to get you to do the whole lot, but they actually want to do it with you. So what we did is we created a course, Ben. And that course is essentially showing how to do the $2,000 a week. And really it's a way for you and I to, what's the best way to put it, to cost effective to the people, a way to get access to us as virtual mentors whilst doing it in a more intimate environment on exactly what to do in a similar environment to what we're doing here to help them do that particular result.
The problem with the DIYs, Bryce, is that it's high risk, because if they don't do the work, or if they don't have the knowledge, or if they don't gain the knowledge, but they don't want to pay for the professional knowledge and the professional advice for these people to do it full time, then the reality is that they're at high risk of failure and losing a lot more money than possible. So what we're sort of talking about here is we're basically saying to those people, we're going to move a portion of those over into here by making it cost effective for them to be able to get the foundation knowledge that they need. And that knowledge is priceless if you bring it all together and you put the time into yourself to understand that. And that's allowing these people to leverage off the knowledge that we've got and the 20 plus years of experience, not only of ourselves, but also of the team of people we have around us, plus the other experts that we've also had the privilege of working with and alongside in terms of framing up what we think is a very, very clear formula to get you to the end game that you want to get to. And that's what I'm most proud of in the sense that we've been able to harness all of that and put this into a educational on-demand online course.
Ben, and what we're really proud of the fact, and it's in alignment with our values and our goals, is a lot of people charge $10,000 plus for this, Ben.
Correct.
So we're not even close to that. We're not even charging it. We're actually not even charging $500, Ben.
Yep.
Okay, so we're making it affordable. So there's a link on the screen here. So if you want to go and check that out, click on the link or go to the URL that you'll see there, because we're really proud of the fact, Ben, because here's what's on offer, Ben.
Yep.
3 modules.
3 modules.
And really, it's the foundations, and then it goes right through to that. So it's the foundations, then the frameworks, and then the outcomes. Now, folks, in the outcomes, we actually we'll walk you through in one of the bonuses how to do $1,000 a week, Ben.
Yep.
We show you how to do $3,000 a week, Ben. But surprise, surprise, we also show you.
Well, that's what we're here to do.
Step by step in one of the bonuses, how to get $2,000. So you'll see, Ben, who's the property investment advisor with you, is actually going to show you. You'll be a fly on the wall over his shoulder, seeing how he's actually putting the numbers together to see how what we've just talked about here, no renovation, no redevelopment, with 3 to 5 properties. So you can check that out. So there's 3 modules, Ben.
And there's 14
lessons
inside those modules as well. So the idea of breaking it down into 3 simple modules, it's almost ready, set, go, right, in terms of and those lessons that are part of that story. And as we said up here, in terms of the work we do in the business, people pay us thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars to execute them. Now, I mean, obviously they're doing that because effectively we're trying to create them into multi-millionaires. And so they see that as a significant investment. Yep. But they don't go there lightly. They go there informed in terms of, and they get it. But there's this people here that we can move from do it yourself into do it with you, that will allow them to sort of basically put their toe in the water and then go, I have enough basic knowledge to not make a huge mistake. And I love that about this course.
9 bonuses, Ben.
9 bonuses.
9 bonuses.
Beautiful.
So there's plenty there for everyone. So go and check that out. You see the link below. But it's really important to know that we feel that we can take people to the result in any one of these ways. We're desperately trying to do it on our podcast. We clearly got the runs on the board for being able to do it through our business, and we wanted to fill this void to help those people that more associate with that do it with you process, Ben. So now we took a very small group of people through, Ben, just in a pilot program, make sure that we could pressure test that. So we're gonna show you now one of those students to let you know what they thought. But folks, this here is an opportunity for you if you want to get access to us, to effectively mentor you through the pages of these books, plus much, much more. Click on the link below and go and check it out. But let's have a little listen to one of our students who have actually been through our course.
There's so much out there on Google that you can just get lost in the web and say, what am I actually looking for again? I haven't done any other courses like this, in particular around property investing. So yeah, it was really cool introduction as well. Super easy to work with. This really summarizes everything you need to know. My wife and I, we've got our own property. It's a PPR, and we're first-time investors. I've been following Ben and Bryce's content for a couple of years now. When they first started, obviously they started on a phone, but they were still putting out gold then. But you know, as soon as they started getting into the videos and a lot more across all the social channels, I knew that this course is going to be like epic. So as soon as I had the opportunity, I jumped on it. These guys break it down yeah. There's a Reddit thread, I think it's called "Explain It to Me Like I'm 5" or something like that. It's it's really good. They really explain all of the terms in this course. You're armed with the right tools that you need to succeed in your property investment journey. I thought it was very, very valuable. It will literally show you what you need to learn or what you need to do from start to finish. You know, you can open up the course and not know anything about property investment or negative gearing or all these terms that people may have heard of, but they're not quite sure what they mean, to, you know, being able to confidently go out and start securing your first property to, you know, create financial freedom for you and your families. It needs to be out there, like in the world, because having this course and having the bundle of, you know, you just get a login and then you can go through it at your own pace. I think it's so good. It's brilliant.
All right, folks, so there you go. There's Cameron Harris, who's one of our students, Ben. So what I just want to encourage you to do, there's a URL underneath us here. If you just go and check out on that page, I'm going to show you exactly what the modules are, exactly what you get in each module, each and every one of those lessons, Ben.
It's all there.
There's a few other students there that you can go and check out some of their experiences as well. You'll see all the bonuses. It is all on this link here. So, folks, if you want to check that out, if you want to actually do it, get to the summit with someone to help you along the way, we recommend that you go and do that. So why don't you go and check the link out, and we look forward to helping you as one of the students of the Start and Build course.